Hey guys, alright, so The Power of Broke by Daymond John. Super crazy book here. Actually changed my paradigm about businesses and personal growth and professional growth so much. I really want to share with you some of the deepest insights from this book. So here's the deal. Daymond John, insanely successful guy. In the last video I talked about called Rise and Grind, also by Daymond, I talk a little bit more about his personal life story. I'll link that video below and you can learn a little bit more about where he came from. I'd recommend watching that before this video. It'll just make a little more sense. But anyway, in then this book, Power of Broke, Daymond breaks down some of the most insane business tactics and strategies that I've ever heard of. And the way he does it is by starting at zero, starting at broke, and using that as a leverage point to grow yourself so ridiculously fast that no one else in the marketplace can keep up, because you have this instilled spirit of rising and grinding, but also going from broke to something so immeasurably valuable that people before there just wouldn't even consider what you're taking as a personal growth perspective. They wouldn't even think about it as an option. And that's what Daymond really talks about. And it makes you go out of the box, makes you be creative, makes you go out there and create results without necessarily using capital that you don't have at the beginning. And that's the mindset. That's the power of broke. He talks about himself. He also talks a lot about really successful entrepreneurs and really great guys that had these tremendous growth stories from zero to having a huge company. And the biggest thing with all of them is they started their entire company on a shoestring budget. It was like $500. Like, that's your company. Bam, go, do it, make results. And that really forces these individuals to go out there and find the one thing that works for them, the thing that is the exclusive bringing in cash for the business, the one thing that's going to help them succeed, the one thing that's going to take them to that next level of success. Because before they actually get to that, they're burning cash, they're making bad decisions, that are just using up money that they have just because they have money. He talks specifically about like starting a franchise or opening your own company where you're like actually have a retail position and you're selling things. And he compares being very wealthy at the beginning to being completely broke. And at the beginning, if you're wealthy, you might jump into it, you might put the investment down, you might actually go out and crush it by like just building a store somewhere. And then all of a sudden you realize, whoa, no one actually like shops for that here. He has an example with a cupcake store. I think a couple other very specialty stores that just opened because people had the money to open them. And they did very poorly because nobody in the space actually wanted that. There wasn't really demand there. Then he contrasts that to these individuals that went out there with completely broke, and they decided to jumpstart their way there by like starting a stand that just sells cupcakes. And then because people really liked what they were selling, they came back over and over, and they were able to accrue capital based entirely off of the original results that they brought to the marketplace. And those results funded their ability to start their first store, to start their first chain, and eventually grow that into this national thing. And the only reason it worked is because at the beginning they had this thing that was so different from everything else in the marketplace. And instead of going a bajillion% and starting out this huge company, they were actually able to fine-tune some of the nuances at the beginning because it wasn't absolutely perfect yet. And then once they had, a year of business and sales and history and clients that were actually telling them exactly what they were doing right and exactly what they were doing wrong, they had that initial test phase that was absolutely killer for their growth and success, because originally they didn't actually like see themselves where they were in the marketplace. They weren't 100% certain of where they wanted to be. So they had to develop that idea over time. They couldn't just start and pour money on it because they didn't know what they were pouring money on. And after they developed that, after they perfected it, that's when they had just huge growth. And they were able to go big. They were able to crush it because the power of broke made them figure out exactly what was perfect at the beginning. And that brought those results to the marketplace that crushed it for them because they did have it right. They did have a great thing. They had an amazing product, an amazing service. And the reason they were able to do that is because at the beginning they had to be resourceful instead of using their resources. They had to, instead of having resources, they took that resourcefulness and created results organically through whatever means possible to jumpstart and crush it. And it kind of goes along with the other Shark Tank book, Shark Tank Jumpstart Your Business. But the point with this one really is more so like this whole new mindset of growth, where instead of at the beginning where you're just thinking about, how can I spend money and get new clients, you're actually focusing more on how can I bring value, add value, bring results into the lives of others, and use it as a way to create this growth organically, because that organic growth is only going to multiply as you pour cash on it. It's like creating this fire at the beginning. What these companies that had a lot of money were doing, where they were creating these huge bonfires and then, you know, pouring the gasoline on because they had the cash to do so, and then burning it. And then they realized at the end that everything burned away, and it was actually just like a fire made out of leaves. It was a fire made out of things that would just burn and go away really quickly. But what these entrepreneurs were doing when they started it broke was they were actually collecting pieces of coal. And those pieces of coal were very difficult to come across, but they had to find them and then put them together. And at the beginning, the coal burns not as like the wood and the trees and the leaves are going to burn significantly faster at the beginning if you can afford to find those. But instead, these entrepreneurs were forging coal, and that coal, if you light it, it's not going to burn very quickly at the beginning, but it's going to grow and it's going to grow and it's going to grow, and then you're going to have more coal and you're going to have a bigger fire. So instead of decreasing your sales and actually losing everything, you're like, you know, not having the results that you want in the marketplace when you start too big, you start too fast, and then just burns away like that. These guys were actually starting small. They were starting at broke. They were starting at zero. And they were using that mentality and that mindset to create this insane personal growth and professional growth stories where they were actually building their businesses, building their lives up and up because they figured out what worked given that they had nothing to start with. And they used that positioning in the marketplace to go out there, grow it, and crush it in the long term, because what they were doing was so much more sustainable and so much more value adding in the marketplace that they just were uncomparable to their traditional firms. And you know, it's not just with these companies, the examples that Daymond gives, because you see it so much in the marketplace that people literally start companies with like a couple $100, and that investment is able to grow itself because they have the resourcefulness and the personal drive to go out there and crush it. And that's another really big thing with the power of broke, is it's such a mindset shift of like, you have to get this done. This is yours to do. You go out there, you use this broke mindset to understand that like your bank account has $34 in it. You need to get out there and crush it and go hard and go, because that's what matters. And that's what's gonna get you those results that you want in the marketplace. And it's not just going to come with burning cash here and here on these short-term shiny objects that aren't really going to succeed for them. You've got to go hard. You got to go 100%. You got to use that mentality as a way to crush it in the marketplace and provide those immeasurably high results, because those results are going to come exclusively when an individual or a company or whatever it is that they're doing is based solely on results that matter, results that create the content that matters for these individuals and the companies that they represent. And that's where you're going to see surreal success. You think about companies like Apple, companies that started with so little, but that power of broke mindset, the idea that the only choice for you is to succeed because you're literally at nothing, and you can't, like, and especially at the beginning he talks about having like a negative bank account and using that negative balance as motivation to get to that next level of personal success and development, and like thinking about like, really, how much does it matter if my bank account has $0 or negative $1,000 to make this upfront investment? Because that debt at the beginning, you know, whatever it is that you do, or even if you're just at zero, you're so close to broke. That's the place you want to be when you start, because you have to have this craving mentality and mindset that you have to do it. You're 100% committed. You don't have that net. You don't have safety. And that's what's going to push you up. That's going to keep you up late, keep you till 2 a.m. every morning. Because it matters so much that you get the results done and you make it happen. The same thing kind of happened with me, I know, when I was working at Subway and I like quit to trade stocks full times. I was like on this grind because I didn't have income. I didn't have anything coming in the door. The only way I was going to produce results is if I figured exactly how to succeed in the stock market and use that as fuel to go every single day in the market to crush it, because that was the way I wanted to succeed. That was what I was, committing myself to. That's what I loved. That's what I made happen. That's what so many of these entrepreneurs in Power Broke do, because they use this mentality that they have no option but to succeed. They have no choice but to go up. There's nowhere to go except up when your bank account has $43 and there's just no option. There's no choice. I've been here and I've used it as motivation. These people have used it as motivation to start these insanely valuable companies. They're going out of the marketplace and helping thousands and thousands, so many people they're able to help. And the reason they do that is because they care and they're permitted to do it thanks to the quality of their ideas and their dedication and their motivation. And most importantly, given, especially what this book outlines, is their individual mentality that they are powerful, that they do deserve, that they should succeed, and that they will succeed because they have this power of broke mindset. And this is like especially a great mindset for anybody looking to start an online business, start a personal business, start any kind of business where they're going out there and they're producing results directly for the marketplace, and they're crushing it for not just themselves, but also the people around them, and creating results for those around them because they're passionate about it, and they care about having this whole new aspect of their lives that's so much greater than just, you know, I'm going to work this job for 8 hours a day, or I'm going to do whatever it is. Because that's not really the power broke. The power broke is about taking your goals and using your situation to actualize them. And it interweaves a lot with rise and grind, but the biggest thing with it is understanding that there's no one that's going to do this for you, and that the marketplace really doesn't owe you anything. You have to prove that value. You have to give that value. You have to create that value. Spend a year writing a book, 3 years researching for it, 2 years, whatever. Like, that's not easy. And the only way to do that is to understand that you have to get out there and provide that value and do it for other people and succeed for them and bring them a return on whatever it is that they do, and to give them quality in any service or product that you deliver. And that's the way with the Power Broke mindset that you're going to really get to that next level of personal and professional success and just crush it. Hope you guys find this valuable. There's a link below to get the book. Highly recommend it. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.